Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today we're here to share with you our review of Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, this review was originally written by Gavin Lane for NintendoLife.com, but was reworked into this video by me. It's safe to say that we all agree Welcome Tour should have been a pack-in. Or if that simply wasn't on the table, make it free for the first year, or free with a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. It's painfully obvious to everybody but Nintendo that paywalling this specific software further behind the already pricey console is a mistake. And it's a real shame that more people won't experience it, because it makes you feel good about your substantial investment in the hardware. Welcome Tour is a peaceful, in-depth exploration of the system, taking you around and inside the device, its controllers, and peripherals, some of which are sold separately, but more on that later. And it highlights its various features and novelties. This is the platform holder celebrating and deep diving into its tech in a way that feels unusual, but also very Nintendo. In some ways, the granular tech focus here is a necessity. Switch 2, by its nature, is an iteration on a theme. So if you're going to charge a hefty sum for something superficially the same but bigger, what better way than to highlight every single upgrade in a fun, demo-filled game of hide and seek that breaks it all down. And the developers really do break it all down. You'll be running around capacitors over circuit boards, batteries, and myriad chips and components that appear to be modeled extremely faithfully. This is Nintendo tearing down its hardware virtually so you don't have to, and being remarkably frank in some regards. And there's no console wars chest beating here either. It's all very humble. It's essentially an Iwata asks, ask the developer interview, but in game form. The game itself takes the form of an explorative isometric walking sim. You control a person jogging around an oversized Switch 2 and accessories propped up and exhibited across an enormous park. Or are you a tiny person and the Switch 2 is normal sized? Well, regardless, it's never made clear, but hot Welcome Tour lore aside, you run around the virtual gear while the real-life gear throws novel audio-visual and haptic feedback at you. It's a particularly great showcase specifically for HD Rumble 2. I only hope that developers take the time to implement it properly in other games. Stamp Rally stands pop up when you approach components and gate progress between areas. So to get to the main console, you have to locate 18 stamps on the left Joy-Con and so on. Simple enough, though some less obvious ones do present a challenge, usually when the button or port is on the inaccessible underside and you're hunting for the stand. Then there are mini games with multiple variations of the same game grouped on little exhibits across the hardware. It's all very Switch 2 experience for anybody who attended those pre-launch events. There are over 50 games, and beating them earns medals to unlock harder variants. Some naturally are better than others. The mouse mode ones are generally more challenging or frustrating. Removing stains with a paint scraper was much harder to do on my leg or on the arm of the sofa than on a table. My lap or a cushion worked fine with other games though. If you do hit a wall with one, just move on. You're able to instantly warp to anything you visited by hitting X to bring up the map and selecting it. A real godsend. Elsewhere, you'll be hunting floating pixels, shooting balloons, coloring within the lines, guessing the angle of the kickstand, all sorts of things. Only one minigame, Breaststroke Floaty Frustration, is outright bad, and it really lives up to its name. While there's nothing here you're likely to fire up again once you've completed the game, they're all effective at demonstrating the possibilities of your shiny new console. On that theme, and beyond the realm of proper games, 14 tech demos highlight neat functions and features, letting you test the noise reduction qualities of the built-in microphone, make the Joy-Con emit sound effects, and plenty more. The 3D sound demo with the helicopter is a particular highlight, but they're all fun to mess around with. The kids absolutely loved sawing logs, shaking maracas, and hearing themselves with robot voices. The HDR demo didn't wow me, but these are cool toys to play with. Who wouldn't want to rev a motorbike with a Joy-Con? Beyond that, dozens of info desks contain multiple choice quizzes testing your knowledge of nearby insight boards. It's here where Nintendo goes into detail about the hows and whys of design. And in all honesty, it's incredibly interesting for anybody with a penchant for gaming hardware. The lighthearted quiz questions aren't taxing if you're paying any attention whatsoever to the slides, though it's fun to imagine a world where love or glue hold the Joy-Con on. They do get progressively more challenging as you journey inside the console, but there's typically one comedic answer, two vague possibilities, and the obvious correct one. Get a question wrong, and the relevant insight board is flagged so you can quickly correct yourself and repeat the quiz. Burning through insights for review isn't the best way to digest them, and they got quite repetitive towards the end. One named Games Use Electricity isn't as obvious as it sounds, but the title made me chuckle. You're not obliged to do any quiz stuff either, and along the way, there's lost property to find, some charming NPC writing, cute moments as you skate across the screen, and a bunch of nostalgic nods to Nintendo history. There are also some smirk-worthy purely for reference disclaimers when they show animations of the Joy-Con being wrenched from the console and other non-sanctioned actions. But Welcome Tour feels like Nintendo being refreshingly open and surprisingly confident. I can't imagine any other platform holder going into this sort of forensic detail for fear of a Red Ring level embarrassment down the line. It might even help subdue fears about another Joy-Con drift debacle this generation, as the new mechanisms feature very prominently here. There's an assuredness in inviting this kind of scrutiny, an admirable pride in the work. I can't believe they're showing us as much as they are, says one of the milling NPCs, and I can only agree. It's a quality product, and a surprisingly lengthy one. Due to the weird 10-day delay before playtime data is shown on your profile, I can't say exactly how many hours I've spent opening everything and getting nearly all the medals, but it's gotta be 7 or 8, and at least 1 hour was spent on the Nightmare Dual Mouse UFO Bullet Hell Star Collection minigame. There are 12 areas in total, going from the top of the left Joy-Con into the system itself via the dock, the Joy-Con grip and straps, and even peripherals that don't come with the system, specifically the camera, the Pro Controller, and the Joy-Con wheels. If you don't own those things, you can still earn fast track medals from them via a cute little cheat code, so progress isn't gated behind them. However, access to a handful of minigames and demos are effectively blocked if you don't have the required gear. The camera, a pad which has the GL and GR buttons, and a 4K TV are the things that may stop you. For me, it's nothing to get too upset about, and there's so much else to be getting on with, and what's the alternative? Should Nintendo have removed those experiences entirely? We get, though, that it's another straw that broke the camel's back type of scenario if you're already irritated by the cost. It also highlights another unavoidable aspect of Welcome Tour. As well as being part instruction manual, part demo, it's also an advertisement for those lovely accessories you didn't pick up. Yet, there's an undeniable allure to seeing pristine hardware at this resolution, without the skin cells and dust particles and pet hairs and assorted household debris that attaches itself the moment you remove the packaging. Welcome Tour is deliciously sterile, with gorgeous specular highlights on the logos as you run across them, close-ups of glistening ports and shiny sticks. It tickles the same zones as Sony's Astrobot in some ways, though this is much more of a museum piece. It does a fantastic job of highlighting the design chops and consideration that goes into every aspect of Nintendo's products, from the 0.05mm height adjustments to the individual face buttons, to the minuscule tab on the single foot of the dock that means it will slide rather than topple over if you accidentally yank it with a cable connected. Ultimately, Welcome Tour is modestly priced at around $10 US or 8 quid. Despite the wider economic context surrounding Switch 2's launch and the general upset over pricing across the industry, which makes charging for it feel like the last straw. For your buck, though, there's a surprising amount of bang here. This 100% should have been a pack-in, but the software itself? It's great. Welcome Tour is a calming, surprisingly engaging hardware exhibition with a handful of cool minigames, a trove of interesting info, and some neat demos that showcase exactly what the little system can do. It makes you feel good about buying the thing, which makes the platform holder's decision not to bundle it with the console utterly baffling. Featuring expensive add-ons you might not own also won't impress anyone who's frustrated that the company wants another $10 for this. That aside, it's an undeniably fine demonstration of Nintendo's thoughtful design approach. It's cute, It's fun, and it's a shame the whole pack-in argument overshadows the delightful software. Anyone interested in tech, design, or Nintendo in general should check this out immediately. We here at Nintendo Life give Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour on the Nintendo Switch 2 an 8 out of 10. Be sure to let us know if you've picked up Welcome Tour yourself and maybe what your favorite minigame is. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you charge $10 for that subscribe button? Wait, hold on. Nope, never mind. The subscribe button will always be free. And then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we put up new videos like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Gavin for spending however much time he did with Welcome Tour. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.